Hi, everyone. Welcome to the post-game recap of this Dolphins 24-17 victory over the New England Patriots at Gillette Stadium. And holy smokes, was that a nutty finish. And Omar, how much do you love this? I'm sure you noticed the reason the Patriots were short on that fourth down play is because Mike Gesicki could not get loose or run over Justin Bethel to get the 2 extra yards he needed. The 6'6" tight end, and I want to take a shot at Gesicki because he's a good guy, but he literally could not free himself or run over the defensive back, the cornerback who had him in his grasp, and they had to lateral the ball to guard Cole Strange, who wound up getting tackled short of the first down.
I'm not going to pick on Mike Gesicki and his lack of toughness. I thought it was a phenomenal play on his part. I thought the Dolphins got lucky with a pretty favorable spot. I actually disagree with the ref. I think that was first down. But, hey, sometimes the ball bounces your way. Sometimes the ref make a call in your favor. And obviously that – I don't think it would have sealed it. I don't think the Dolphins would have lost even if they had gotten a first down and converted that fourth down. I just think that this was Miami's night. I think the efficiency that they played with on offense was phenomenal. I think they were clutch on defense in key opportunities and key times. Raheem Mostert, 121 rushing yards on 18 attempts, 2 touchdowns. Andrew Van Ginkel, player of the game for me. Who would have expected Andrew Van Ginkel to be a force? Not just a great fill-in, but a force. Oh, come on.
Maybe not a force. Are we surprised that he makes things happen? Like this is the first
time? No. I'm not surprised that he makes things happen. But
okay.
Right now, I'm at the point where I'm comfortable in saying Van Ginkel might be the best fit for Vic Fangio's defense. Like, he's very effective. He's very good at what he does.
He's always been good at what he does. He just never have gotten a ton of snaps. By the way, sorry, but Raheem Mostert's my player of the game. It wouldn't be Van Ginkel. And I think you're much more. Then again, this is nothing new, but you're much more about throwing out praise today. To me, it was like one of those. The Dolphins were very, very efficient, scary looking on offense at times, in a good way. I mean, but then they also got sloppy. And as we discussed prior to the game, I wanted to walk at times. Third and one. There's a muffed exchange where Tua has to fall on the ball. The pick was not a good pick. There was like a very, very, very quick 3 and out. I mean,
great play, great call, underthrown ball on the pick. Great play, great call, underthrown ball. I saw Tyreek's release. I saw he had 1-on-1. Tua clearly saw it too. That was where Tua was going. The ball was underthrown, and a very tall cornerback high-pointed the ball and beat Tyreek Hill for it. It happens. If Tua would have thrown it further, led him further,
correct.
Maybe we'd have a different result.
No, but this is where, again, you're very effusive with the praise. To me, is like Raheem Mostert story of the game. And as the point
I have never been accused of being effusive with praise. This is a first for me.
Oh my God! When it comes to a certain player, effusive is not the word. Holy moly! I saw some of your tweets or your exes, whatever you want to call them. I was like, God, I wish Omar liked me as much as he likes QB1. I mean, come on, please just show me the love. Anyway,
I will not call him QB1.
Okay, no, correct. You call anyway. But let me finish my point. We said before the game we needed. All I wanted was a wash on special teams, and they got Jesus. I mean, holy smokes! Again,
you knew that was going to happen. You knew it.
I didn't expect a field goal block, and as much as we're going to throw praise on Mike McDaniel, sorry, but kicking a 55-yard field goal attempt with 3 minutes left when you're up by 7, not the way. Not if this is 2020, you're crazy, Omar. If it's 2020, Jason Sanders, who was automatic, go for it. He has not been great from long distance the past 2 years, and you keep shaking your head, and I think you're crazy. But
you gotta play. Mike McDaniel coaches with confidence in his players.
Sure.
Right?
Sure.
He's gonna say he's tested Jason Sanders, knew what his distance was before the game. What do you think it would have been if in that situation he said to Jason, "No, we're not kicking it. We're going for it." No,
No,
no.
you punt. You punt. That's the smart play. Or you go for it on 4th and 3. Because if you first of all, going for the first down on 4th and 3 probably has a higher percentage than kicking a 55-yard field goal, which is no gimme. That's not okay. And if you miss the field goal, you give him the ball at the 45-yard line. If you go for it on 4th and 3, you give him the ball at the 37. So right then and there, punt or go for it. That's fine to me. Going unless you got Justin
17 yards though. For 17 yards,
What do you mean 17 yards?
If he punts and the ball goes into the end zone and they come out at the 20.
Okay, then go for it. If you don't like that, and that's fine. Then go for the first down. They have Tua throw the ball on 4th and 3, and they certainly can convert. And again, you're talking. I prefer that to trying a 55-yard field goal with a guy who, quite frankly, hasn't been nearly as good the past 2 years. And
I'm curious in the chat. What are you doing? You going for it? You kicking a field? Don't argue the results. What did you want him to do in that situation? Because I was good with going for the field goal.
I see. Go for it. Go for it on 4th and 3. Go expose. Yeah, that's beside the point. But thank you. Yes, go expose. That was a great game. It felt like a game like the Dolphins were so much better of a team than the Patriots.
They are, but they are.
Except they won by 7 and basically by half. You're like, my God, wow. I mean, man, you're like,
you're
going the pom-pom route. Go ahead.
No, this is a perfect opportunity for you to have a victory and adverse moments and teachable moments, because I don't think they played well. They clearly have way more talent than the Patriots. And I think everybody knew that going into the game. All the concern was, would you get out coached? And I think we finally found a coach that can match or have the creativity to trump Belichick. That wheel play, I don't know if anybody's going to come up with something that can stop that thing. It's like as good as a run.
What play?
Where they have the wheel route and then the outlet receiver, and it's a either or. It's like an RPO play. It's that swing pass to the sideline. They must have run that 10 times during the game, and they had success on it. The Patriots, obviously, I thought they did some creative things. The 3 safety look to basically prevent teams from going deep. I think other teams will try to replicate that. It's interesting. It's intriguing. I don't know if it will have the amount of success that the Patriots, I think a better team can probably execute a little bit better. But I love the running. I love what I saw from Raheem Mostert. I knew Raheem Mostert would have a very big game just because when you take everything away, either they're going to lead you to a run or they're going to lead you to pass the ball to the backs and the tight ends. And that's what Miami did. The efficiency that Tua played with, as usual, with the exception of the interception and the fumbled exchange late in the game, I thought he played a very excellent game. Let me see what his passer rating was.
92.2. And this is this is where I am going to say that the passer rating does not reflect. I thought Tua played better than that passer rating. He had the one bad pick on the where as you mentioned, Tyreek was open and he just underthrew him. Outside of that, I thought he played very, very well. And one of his best plays actually was the one where he saved a bad. And again, the issues with the center quarterback exchange. Tua saved what would have been like probably a 7 or 8 yard loss on a shotgun snap that he had to reach up to get, and then wanted to give it to Mostert, and Mostert gained like 7 yards on the play. That was a really, really good play by Tua. And like I said, again, the passer rating is not gonna show it because he gets dinged very badly by the one pick.
But deservedly so.
I don't know. No, I understand that. I don't know if very excellent is kind of like an interesting. To me, was very good. And Raheem Mostert and people who were like complaining about the running game last week against the Chargers. Well, they didn't need the running game against the Chargers, against the Patriots, who were not going to get beat by the pass. We're going to try. I mean, Tyreek Hill did not put up huge numbers today.
Yes. Tyreek Hill was 5 receptions for 40 yards and a touchdown with 9 targets.
Correct.
I mean, he
Waddle
still
had
scored
86
a touchdown.
yards. Sorry?
Still scored a touchdown.
No, he did, and as they pointed out, I mean, that was a brilliant 2-minute drive by the Dolphins to get that touchdown. And this wherever Craycraft came up with 2 nice catches on that deep slant that Tua will slice and dice defenses if that's given to him. That's his bread and butter. That's the best ball he throws. I've said that all along. That was a nice play. Waddle had 4 for 86. We're going to hope that the injury he sustained late in the game after taking that shot, which was like helmet to helmet, not going to be an issue moving forward. But that's down the road. Offensive line was pretty good. Tua was sacked once, and on that play, I know it's going to be Austin Jackson. It was his guy who sacked Tua, except that if you saw the play, Jackson pushed out Matthew Judon first out wide. Judon spun around and came back inside. Tua had nowhere to escape because Connor Williams got pushed all the way back into him. So basically, once Tua stepped up, he was running into Connor Williams. So it's as much to me, it's as much on Williams as it is on Jackson. And then there were the two, like the fumble exchange. That one looked weird. The one against the Chargers, the exchange from under center, that to me like it was on Tua. This one looked like more it was on Williams, where he got too high, he didn't like send it on. And dude, Tua and Connor Williams spend 2 hours after each practice working on your exchanges.
Come on, not 2. 20 minutes.
I'm being hyperbolic, funny, exaggerating. Obviously, not 2 hours. You know what I'm saying, though. It's
I saw them the first week they were working together after practice. I have not seen them work after practice this week. Maybe they're going before practice. Clearly, it's something that needs to be addressed. We can't continue to have these snapping faux pas. It's just really ridiculous at this point. I'm fine with Colin Williams. I think he's one of the best assets in the run game. We just got to address the snapping. And what troubles me is that it wasn't an issue last year, and this year it's just it's everywhere. It's every game so far, and you can't continue to have that. I want to give Kendall Lamb some props because we've got another game. He steps in for Teron Armstead, played admirably, showed you that this isn't too big for him. That's huge and important. Props to the run defense. They got chastised all last week. And what are we at from a run game standpoint? We finished the game.
Again, it's 75, 88 on
88 rushing yards. 88 rushing yards for a team that you absolutely know is going to run the football and want to commit to the run. The one thing I didn't like from a defensive standpoint, the Patriots converted 7 of 15 third downs. That's a very high rate of third down success. Dolphins converted 4 of 10. It was
isn't good. I mean, we talk about the efficiency of the offense. 4 for 10 is not great.
Yeah, 4 for 10 is not great. What I did like is they consistently gained first downs, 22 first downs, even though the Patriots had 23 first downs. 22 first downs is effective. Red zone execution was relatively high as usual. The defense was clutch. When they were in the red zone, Xavier Howard pulled down an interception. I thought Javon Holland played well, covering tight ends, covering backs. He was all over the field, 11 tackles, led the team for the second straight week with 11 tackles. And I mentioned Andrew Van Ginkel, who I thought was phenomenal. I know you want to give Raheem Mostert your top player, but Andrew Van Ginkel, man, nobody expected this from you. Nobody expected you to beat out David Long for the nickel package. And then the next week when Jalen Phillips is struggling with a back issue, you step in and you are a beast on the edge. Pressures, tackles, impact plays. Nobody expected that from Andrew Van Ginkel.
Yes, they did. Yes, they did. Somebody did because maybe not to this extent, but the dude can play. Okay.
I never said he can play.
No, but
This
you're,
is
you're,
the
you're
top
making it sound
defender.
you can making it sound like they signed me off the practice squad and I went in there and did this. I mean, it's like as you like to say, put some respect on the man. We mentioned David Long. David Long actually also played very well, especially early on. Like
Yes.
that first quarter, he was really, really good. And then Bradley Chubb also showed up to play after having a horribly quiet season
I
opener.
think Raekwon Davis did quite well too. I love the chess match period where Belichick's running the hurry up offense because he's got Raekwon Davis on the field and he's trying to prevent the substitutions. And what he doesn't know is Raekwon does 20 minutes of bike work after practice every day just to make sure his wind is up. And he was impactful on that drive. I believe that was a drive that allowed them to get the ball back at the end of the first half and allowed them to go down the field and score the touchdown. I liked what I saw from the defense. I liked what I saw from a lot of the linebackers. I even liked what I saw from the safeties. Deshaun Elliott, strong game. Obviously, Eli Apple with some of the penalties and some of the coverage issues. That wasn't desirable, but and I would have loved to have seen more involvement for Alec Ingold, and I like Alec Ingold, but I didn't see him involved in the passing game at all. I have to look at the coaches film to see what that was about. In terms of Tyreek Hill, come on, we knew he was going to be taken out of the game, and I saw a lot of blocking from Tyreek, and he really took pride in that role, and that's what team leaders and team captains do. Is when they know that their role is minimized, they make the most out of what's actually there for them. And he did a phenomenal job blocking.
No, and it's actually interesting though, because we had our first betting segment on the podcast earlier Sunday, and we talked about the Alec Ingold line. What was the number? Like 4.5 receiving yards?
Yeah,
it went under and didn't catch a pass, wasn't targeted, didn't catch a pass.
Would have busted our parlay up.
Yes, he would have. We saw again Dolphins using Eric Ezukama in the Deebo Samuel role. The dude's tough to tackle. He had one play where it could have been a loss. It actually wasn't a run. It was like a lateral pass, and he had somebody in his face immediately and juked him. Wound up getting, I think it was like 7 yards. Devon Achane got his first appearance.
5 yards.
5 yards, and he had another run that would have been good for 6 yards, but Austin Jackson was flagged for holding on that one, brought it back and negated the gain. But ran well. Savon Ahmed also ran very well before he left the game with a groin injury. Had one really long gain, I think it was 19 yards maybe on a shovel pass, and then also had a 10-yard gain.
3 for 13 rushing, and then he had 3 receptions for 28 yards.
No, and the thing you mentioned about the run defense stepping up, well, the thing is also the Dolphins, as you mentioned, knew they'd have to stop the run. They focused on stopping the run. To me, they had a lot more players closer to the line of scrimmage. I also like the fact that Vic Fangio opened the game, not afraid to throw blitzers at Mac Jones.
Mm-hmm.
Which is something he didn't do against the Chargers. I don't know, and I don't know if it was because it's Mac Jones and he's not afraid of him beating him deep. Or I don't know if it was because Jalen Phillips wasn't in the lineup and he wanted to compensate.
And he saw Mike Gesicki on the field. He's like, blitz. There were a lot of blitzes.
Oh, by the way, since you mentioned that, on one of the very first runs, may have been a third down run, they ran like a sweep to the right, and Javon Holland was in position to make the tackle. He came up, and Mike Gesicki, I don't want to say necessarily blocked him out of the way, kind of like put his body in between him and prevented Holland from making a tackle. I mean, that's probably the most polite way I can say it. And he sprung Stevenson, who got a first down on the play. But let me see those numbers on Gesicki and Devontae. Oh, look at that.
Yards.
Look at that. Both leading receivers. No, sorry. Parker for 6, Gesicki for 5. But no big gains. Patriots' longest play of the game is an 18-yard scramble by Mac Jones. I mean, that team cannot go down. I mean, and Mac Jones tried a couple of like deep shots. And for those of you who play baseball, who know, I mean, like defenders might be calling an infield fly on the play. I mean, that's That's like a moonshot. That thing is way up in the air. I mean, holy moly. And then X got him again. I pointed that out on Twitter, X, whatever you want to call it, X for X. It was exactly like the first drive of the season last year. Patriots were in scoring position. Mac Jones tried to go to Devontae Parker deep down the right sideline. X completely bodies him out of position. And then last year, what happened is X tipped the ball. Javon Holland picked it off in the end zone. This time, X decided, you know what? I'm gonna basically stick my ass in your body and basically move you out of bounds, and I'll go ahead and catch this in the field of play. Textbook, and as I pointed out to you directly, my friend on Twitter, this is a guy who turns around to look at the ball. And you combine that with his.
Yes, and very few do that. Very few can do that.
That's a good point. And that's why he gets picks all over the place. And he's also got great hands. And it's almost, he turns into a receiver very quickly.
Yeah. It'll be interesting to see the continued growth for this defense, the continued evolution of the game plan for the defense. We've now seen 2 games where the game plan is completely different. You know, say what you want, and I had a great deal of respect for Brian Flores' defense, but you know, the game plan was pretty much very consistent. We were going to blitz, and you're seeing some very unique coverages from Vic Fangio. You're seeing a early blitz period. I remember some of those blitzes we watched. It was that ridiculous sack practice inside the bubble, and we saw those Duke Riley blitzes. Yeah, it was the same. It was the same plays, and I'm like, man. So this is really, it's like he finds specialists and he uses those specialists in those roles. And even though it was Duke Riley was the one that was delivering the sacks, David Long came in and really, really had a very impactful, productive sack. I'm not sure he's got many sacks during his career, but this is something that I think that he could do long term with this organization and this team, because he triggers very fast and makes good, quick decisions. That's the one thing I have noticed about David Long. Now, will Fangio continue to trust him? And he obviously had a good game. I think he had a good game. I'm not looking at the coach's film right now, but from the naked eye, he looked like he had a good game. The question is there growth that can be there? And I could say the same thing about this run defense, because as productive as they were, there's still left a little room for, I think, if they were playing a better talented run team and a team that didn't have a depleted offensive line, they might have had some issues.
Well, it wasn't that depleted all, because it wound up that all they were missing was left tackle Trent Brown, because the 2 guards who were there were their actual starting guards, Cole Strange and Michael Nenwu, who didn't play against the Eagles in week 1. I want to address
only the Pro Bowl tackle. Yeah.
I'm sorry?
I said only their Pro Bowl tackle was missing.
When's the last time Trent Brown made the Pro Bowl?
He made it though.
And I'm going to look it up here I want to address something else that somebody brought up. During the telecast, Chris Collinsworth mentioned Savon Ahmed's 4.62 speed. So I did the research on it. Yes, he did run 4.62 at the combine. So I don't know what was going on, because I researched it, and there's a story from the Fan Nation University of Washington site that before the combine he had run at the school, verified by the head coach, and he had run a 4.32. Now, before Omar goes with the dismissive hand gesture, I was going to point out something which is not the dismissive hand gesture, that yes, when the 40 times that schools are to be taken with a grain of salt. Okay, so 4.32, yeah, probably not. But there's also a long road from 4.32 to 4.62. Because if you think Savon Ahmed is a 4.62 guy,
he's fast. He's not a
4.62 guy.
He's not a 4.6 guy. But
okay, Trent Brown has made 1 Pro Bowl, and it was in 2019.
Yes, he still made Pro Bowl.
With Oakland when he played 11 games. You want to go ahead and call him a Pro Bowl tackle? Sure, go ahead. In that time, he's been injured more often than not. The fact that they had both of their starting guards, to me, was more than made up for the fact they didn't have their left tackle. And the final numbers, if you take away Mac Jones' scrambles, the 2 Patriot running backs, Ramondre Stevenson and Ezekiel Elliott, 20 for 63. I'm no math major, but that's about 3.1. Can't complain with that. But again, you're facing an offense that you're not scared of in terms of throwing the ball deep.
Mac Jones had an 84.5 passer rating. Obviously, his one interception to Xavier Howard contributed to that. I don't know what to think about Mac Jones. He wasn't trash, but he wasn't extremely good. But I do see some potential and upside in him because of his efficiency level. He's like Tua light. Now, the question is, if you get him better weaponry, which I don't think will happen because I know players don't necessarily want to go play in New England, will he become a better quarterback? And I don't have a conviction that Bill Belichick can draft good players. So, I know
he doesn't have the quick twitch that Tua has, number one, and Tua's got a better arm than him. So no offense to Tom Curran, that was crazy. Mac Jones, if with good people around him, can be a good game manager, but again, he doesn't have the quick twitch that Tua has, or even the zip on those short to intermediate throws. So no, that to me, I'm not buying that comparison. And New England, look, did you see the stat where they're 0-2 for the first time since 2001? That's crazy. I mean, that's crazy. Meanwhile, the Dolphins, who are obviously we care more about on this podcast, are 2-0 for the second consecutive year for the 22nd time in franchise history. First time they've been 2-0 with both wins on the road since 2013. And I know you don't look at next week, but I look at next week, and it's the Denver Broncos who are 0-2 after a crazy game against Washington where they lost 35-33. They scored on a Hail Mary on the last play of the game.
Yeah.
And then couldn't
convert. And then passing PI on the 2-point conversion that wasn't called. Which,
that's the officiating so bad around the league. And it's funny too, because you mentioned the game-ending play. See, from my vantage point, to me, he was short. And then there was another play where they ruled the one where Belichick threw his flag in anger, the red flag, which was funny as hell. That to me looked like clearly a first down. They didn't give it to him. That one to me didn't look like a first down. And lo and behold, so I'm betting 500. But the officiating around the league and some of the roughing penalties around the league, DPI, not DPI. Jalen Waddle had one pass that was underthrown where that easily, I've seen a lot less wind up, drawing a flag. They didn't call it. Not a ton of consistency there, and it's rough.
Let me ask you this question. Does Miami's 2-0 start on the road against relatively good teams? I still view the Patriots as a good team. They're coached by Bill Belichick. Does that alter or change at all your expectations for what can come from this season? And not just the record, but the performance, how the offense has looked.
To me, the bigger issue is what's going on around the AFC, more so than this. In terms of, and I said before the season, possibilities from missing the playoffs all the way to the Super Bowl. Now, to me, missing the playoffs, that's going to sound weird. The likelihood of that has diminished greatly because Aaron Rodgers is out.
Mm-hmm.
And Zach Wilson is not nearly good enough to overcome what's a really bad offensive line again. Buffalo's still going to be good, by the way. And Josh Allen, if you saw anything of what he did today, I mean, he was ridiculous. Josh Allen again. Cincinnati's got issues. They're 0-2. Joe Burrow, is talking about how much his calf was hurting after the game. The Chargers are charging like nobody's business. This is the best team that always finds a way to lose. And so I don't know that the AFC. By all means, go ahead.
No, I don't have anything to say about Chargers loss.
No, they're always find a way. They're a horribly coached team. And so I don't think the AFC right now is looking nearly as ridiculous as I thought it was going to look. So I find it very hard to believe that the Dolphins are not, I don't want to say a lock because that's too big, but and they're right now, they're as the way the offense has looked, even though I wasn't crazy about the way they finished today. This is a team that's got very, very, very interesting possibilities.
You
You got
know,
him in
you
the
know
Super
what
Bowl yet?
go ahead. What'd you say?
Got him in the Super Bowl yet? By the way, I want to address this because this gets on my nerves. This is not the first time I've seen this. The Bills played Vegas. Okay, every team in the NFL can beat another team, and sorry, but the Vegas is not that much worse than New England. I don't think New England's a very good team. Okay, if you saw anything of what the Bills did when Josh Allen has 3 guys draped over him, and he basically is about to fall down, and he throws like a touchdown pass sidearm. I don't care who he's doing it against. That's still very impressive. So you want to poo-poo what the Bills did today? By all means, let's talk it. A couple of weeks down the line. The Bills are real. I don't care who they beat today. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No. I don't look at the Raiders as some slouches. I think they're hell, you got Arizona out here beating teams. Everybody thought they were tanking.
No, they didn't. The Giants came back and beat them. Did you give up on that game?
I was doing a show.
It was 28-7 for Arizona, like in the third quarter, and the Giants came back and won 31-28.
Ain't that something?
Yeah.
I think that seeing the offense, during training camp, there were periods where people were like, "Oh, the offense is struggling. The offense doesn't look good." I always felt and justified it as, okay, they're experimenting. They're trying to figure out who they are, what works, what can be developed on, what roles do players play. And now that we're seeing it, I think there was 1 or maybe 2 3-and-outs in this game. Seeing the offense consistently drive, consistently own time of possession, consistently convert third downs. Now, if they can consistently score in the red zone, that would be, but we're not there yet. But this is only week 2. There are things to build on, and that's what I like. I love the way that they won this game because it shows that there's a great opportunity for coaching. There's a great opportunity to help them clean things up because sometimes you fear about a team getting too confident, too too arrogant about where they are and how they're performing. And I'm not necessarily certain that I worry about that with this team, but I worry about the hype monster jumping on their back and them starting to feel like they're better than who they are. Right now, you just won. You beat the New England Patriots on national television. You showed everybody in the league our offense is for real. When you play us, because every player watches these games, and anybody who has the Dolphins on their schedule, they realize, we're in for it because this offense is very efficient, very effective, and potent. Are they missing a couple of ingredients? Yes. I thought they stalled in the red zone because they don't have a red zone weapon. Tyreek is a lot of things. Red zone weapon, not necessarily. And obviously the cleaning up of the snaps. I'd love to see them clean up some things on defense to sort of tighten the screws because I believe that they still have the potential to be better than they are. But ultimately, I think this is, if Tua is healthy and you don't get just decimated by injuries, 10-win team easily. Easy.
Duh. I mean, yeah, does that I mean, dude.
You act like 10 wins is easy to get. Like,
based on the way the offense has operated, and again, the execution wasn't quite as clean this week as it was. They had 389 yards, which is not shabby, but it's certainly not 536. And they
clammed up at the end of the game. Keep in
mind,
mind,
63 in the red zone, which isn't terrible.
Keep in mind, they were playing their 4-minute offense, which is basically trying to eat the clock. So that wasn't like their typical offense. But the fact that they can play their 4-minute offense and run the ball when the Patriots know you're going to run it, that was probably the biggest testimony that, hey, we're ready to be who we think we can be. To me.
No, I agree. And again, if it's not for like the snapping snafu on third down, maybe they convert there and they take knees the rest of the game. Or if they go for it on fourth down and they convert, and that's your ball game right there. So they could have closed out. Again, the operation was so insanely clean in the first game. And that includes penalties also. Like you had a couple of penalties that hurt drives. The Austin Jackson penalty. Isaiah Wynn had a push in the back where the guy's not that close to the runner. What are you doing? Why are you grabbing the jersey from the guy in the back and then pushing him? Why? I understand the heat of the action and all that. Jalen Waddle dropped the pass when they were back down after the
And that was the 3 and out.
Correct. That's a 3 and out. And then on the third down, Tyreek looked like he stumbled or he slipped or something, and that caused it. So it wasn't quite as clean. But I think the whole league was on notice after week 1. Even those who didn't watch the game, you just could see the highlights, and you look at 536 of offense, 466 for Tua. But no, when they're executing well on offense, I put that on Twitter. When they're executing well on offense, with the speed, the play calling, this scheme, and Tua's ability to get the ball out to the receivers, I mean, good luck dealing with that offense. And now when you're dealing with Mostert in the running game.
Mm-hmm. Somebody in the chat is asking, Poupard, where's the super chat at? Which I don't know what the super chat is. Tell us in the comments what the super chat is. I have no idea. Listen, I apologize. We're novices at the live stream on YouTube. This is a first for us. You guys demanded it. We're delivering. Hopefully you continue to like and support the work here at alldolphins.com. Go to the website and find the written work for alldolphins.com. I promise you, if you bookmark it, you won't regret it because it's free. But overall, this is a good win. The Dolphins are 2-0. They're probably one of the top 6 teams in the NFL right now. They're hot, and they faced adversity. First week, the defense looked like booty cheeks. Second week, hell, special teams. You nearly gave up the game. These are teachable moments that will hopefully help them take that next step. Next week, you got the Denver Broncos, Russell Wilson, Sean Payton, the guy who Miami wanted to hire instead of Mike McDaniel. I'm sure he's going to have some special treats in his bag for that, because Mike, I think, has got a little pettiness to him. So it'll be interesting to see what happens. If they can continue this momentum, the Dolphin fans will get their first home game. I know they're excited about that. Now the question is, will the fans come out and show that support that they got on the road in LA?
Oh, I think the Dolphins have become must see viewing now. I think there is a buzz about this team, and justifiably so. And they're 2-0, and mind you, it's easy to forget. As good as they have looked for most of the time on offense, they won their 2 games by 2 and by 7. The one way of looking at this is tells you it ain't that easy. But the flip side is good teams find a way to win close games. And I mentioned the Chargers charging, always finding a way to lose. Well, the Dolphins are doing the opposite. They're finding a way to lose.
Somebody in the chat said Christian Wilkins had a sack. Omar, you need to mention that. Christian Wilkins, go get that money. Go get that money.
What he did. The Dolphins had 4 sacks, which was one more than yesterday. Hey, that's 7 sacks in 2 games. At 3.5 per pop. That's like 17 times 3. It's almost 60 sacks for a season. That's a very, very, very high number. So, and it's interesting too, because the perception was that the pass rush was kind of lame last weekend, and in truth it was, but they did finish with 3 sacks. Today, the best pass rush actually was very good.
And Bradley Chubb showed up at just the right time.
He absolutely did.
2 impact plays, forced fumble and the sack, critical sack.
Absolutely.
So that's what you want. Following the Joey Porter rule, where I make 3 impact plays per game, I'm headed to the Pro Bowl. So
somebody's asking Cam needs to start after the game Eli Apple had. Might be sooner rather than later now, but super chat lets viewers reward career. Wait, what?
All right, okay, that's Eddie too. Eddie, what's up, brother? Eddie's a social media guru, so I couldn't even tell you. I know you used to work for TikTok. I know you're doing something great. Super chat lets viewers reward creators for their efforts, sort of like a tip. Oh, super dope. We'll figure it out.
Yes, find it. Right, Brian Cox with 2 fingers up. What does that mean? No, I know. I got that part. Thank you, Omar. I got that part. That was against at Buffalo, but what exactly? Is that a comment on me saying that Buffalo is still going to be tough? Sorry, Buffalo completely sucks. I mean, I don't know what you guys want me to say.
Miami Fire asked, "Who's our player of the game?" I said Andrew Van Ginkel. He said it's Raheem Mostert. I actually on the QM pregame show I predicted Raheem Mostert would be the player of the game, but and I know he had 2 touchdowns and he had that big long run and he's really doing what he intended to do this offseason. I got to give his trainer Nick Hicks some props because Raheem put on 15 pounds of muscle and he's playing like that. I don't remember him bowling over people in the run game last year. That wasn't a feature of his game that I saw on a regular basis. And for the last 2 games, I've seen him falling forward, bowling over guys. And I know he wants to be part of he wants to be used as a slot receiver. He wants to be that weapon that Savon Ahmed and Devon Achane are being used as. And I get it. You see other guys with different roles. I'm like, just accept and appreciate and respect your role. What I am disappointed in Raheem is we didn't get the surfing celebration. I enjoyed whatever that was with Tyreek Hill. It was nice and it was cute, but I want to see a synchronized surfing celebration that includes the offensive lineman. I want the whole line getting on the surfboard and getting up.
But here's the question. You said he was falling forward. Was he falling forward fast? Was that your first year? Was that before you?
For those, yeah. Listen.
Cam Cameron.
Failing forward fast.
Well,
yes.
Literary license here.
And truthfully speaking, I understood exactly what he was saying.
But it sounds funny anyway.
Yes. Problem is his team failed forward slowly, which, it happens.
And what he meant, and this was in his first and only training camp, is he wanted his players to make mistakes so they can learn from the mistakes and correct them. And he wanted that to happen very quickly so the corrections could happen sooner rather than later. Hence, he wants his players to fail. He wants them to keep moving, progressing forward, and to do it rapidly. Fail forward fast. But it's the first time he said that, I think all of us in the media were like, what? One point I want to make also, because we sprung flowers to Raheem Mostert on the 43-yard touchdown.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, talk about an ocean being the parting of the seas there, and the two left side guys pushed everybody to the side, and then Robert Hunt and Connor Williams in the middle of the line, both separated guys. I'm trying to remember who was on which side. I think probably Connor Williams over here. Hunt pulled and then moved the guy out. I mean, creased like you wouldn't believe.
That's about $1 million run play for Robert Hunt right there. That's going to get you paid, brother. I'm not a Robert Hunt is a pulling guard, but if you continue to put pulls on film that lead to big plays, then you will gain the reputation as a pulling guard. I'm so proud of what this offensive line is doing and how they're playing. I saw during the exhibition season and the joint practices that they're going to be able to run the ball and run the ball effectively. As I previously said on previous All Dolphins podcasts, I got to give a ton of kudos to Butch Barry because he's really, really getting the job done. And this is how you're performing with a backup left tackle. And I everybody knows I have respect for Kendall Lamb and what he does and what he brings to the table and the chip that he plays with on his shoulder. But whoa, that thing is sexy. That run game is sexy. And you saw it. You saw it. What the beauty of the outside zone is teams are so fearful of it and they play it so much they'll leave the inside open. And then that one play, you hit that inside and the seals begin to part. And keep in mind that the more you run on teams, the more it wears them down, and that's when you pop the big one in the fourth quarter.
Okay, let me address this. Jay Rodriguez, by the way, obviously you don't read alldolphins.com, which I take personally, because if you had, you would have seen in one of the mailbags that I did this weekend that I said that, yes, Tua is the best quarterback the Dolphins have had since Dan Marino. Now I will verbally say it, and I certainly would encourage you to read the my alldolphins.com mailbags, because that question comes up and I have answered it. So I hope that takes care of your desire at this particular time.
Yeah, whether a wealthy builder says X holds too much. Yeah, X holds. X
You have
cheats.
Mike Gesicki running across the middle, and I'm like, you really need to do that?
X,
You see that play? It was like, man,
X just has like subtle little grabs. He does it all the time. He's been doing that.
there was nothing subtle about that one. I mean, he had a fistful of jersey. I mean, damn.
X holds, man. It is what it is. He gets caught sometimes. Sometimes he doesn't get caught. I mean, don't act like elite receivers don't push off. They do.
Michael Irvin never pushed off. It's a joke for older people. If you ever saw Michael Irvin play, woof, perfected the art.
If you will look closely enough, receivers push off and cornerbacks hold. Question is, will they get flagged for it? So, how's Armstead replacing?
Somebody asked 2 games in who's on the trading block. Holy moly. Cedric Wilson Jr.
Emmanuel Agba.
He got snaps today. I saw him on the field quite a bit. I don't know if I saw him make a play, but he was on the field quite a bit.
Yeah, he was. Wow, dude, that was cold.
Yes, I'm wrong.
No, you're not wrong. Let me look at the stat line. He does not have a single tackle.
He doesn't even show up in the stats. Does not even show up in the stats. Why is Chubb so slow to react to the play starting? Yes.
Why is Chubb so what?
So slow to react to the play starting. Because he doesn't want to jump offside, but I didn't notice him being very slow when he sacked Mac Jones.
I'll look at that. I think Chubb has got a lot of responsibility. They got a lot of freelance. They have the ability to freelance. They have the ability to adjust what they do, the outside guys. So maybe he's reading things before he gets off the line. I don't know. Listen, it's a win. Celebrate a win. These things don't come easily. I always hate when Dolphin fans will nitpick a victory. And I'm not saying that they are nitpicking victory or should nitpick this victory, because any win over the Patriots is a hard-earned win. And right now, Tua is 5-0 against Bill Belichick. 5-0.
Except here's the thing. What's your and I get that. And any win's a win. What's our standard and what's our expectations and what's our hopes for this team? To me, again, absolutely love the win in New England. But maybe I have higher standards for this team. And yeah, I'm going to absolutely acknowledge the things they did well, but also look where they can get better. I don't think it's going to take a perfect game to beat Denver next week in the least, but I know you don't look ahead. I do. The week after that, they play at Buffalo. And yes, it's going to take not necessarily a perfect game, but the margin for error drastically gets smaller.
Mm-hmm.
So that's all. It's not like, always being negative and all that. It's like they ran the ball extremely well. They came up with 4 sacks, 2 takeaways on defense. The passing game for good chunks of the game was really humming. But there were a couple. Go ahead.
Wasn't there a Broncos receiver who got hurt today or something?
Yeah. No, it was a Broncos defensive back who, for the second week in a row, laid out a player with an insanely cheap shot. And you actually put on Twitter, it's Kareem Jackson. You put on Twitter, what's he supposed to do last week? He knocked out a guy of the game. And when he basically completely lowered and led with his helmet to create a helmet-to-helmet.
Yeah, but on that play, the target lowered his body, and I agree with him. I think that's ridiculous. The target lowered his body. He's already in position to tackle. He's lowered his body. Okay, and then it also instantly becomes helmet to helmet. Defender's going to be flagged. Defender's going to be fined. I mean, at what point do you protect the defenders, or does nobody care about them?
You can't leave with the helmet, but you can't. Here's the thing, though. The Jalen Waddle play, did you think that was a bad call?
I can't remember it, to be honest with you.
Well, it's a helmet to helmet. He was aiming for the back, and then Waddle fell a little bit more than he thought and wound up helmet to helmet. But But anyway, Kareem Jackson had another one today, which was an insanely cheap shot. It was Logan Thomas, former Dolphins quarterback, Washington tight end now. And it was clearly after a ball went past him, and he was coming across the end zone, and Jackson was on the other side, and he literally lifted himself upward and jumped into Thomas like at about the head level and laid him out. And in fact, I saw a report that maybe they're having a meeting tomorrow to discuss what to do with him. So it's possible the Dolphins won't have to face Kareem Jackson because, I mean, the dude's like becoming like a headhunter in the secondary. It's completely ridiculous. Check out the replay when you get a chance. The one today was egregious.
Omar, can you comfortably say Dougie Durong would be a better snapper? Oh, come on, stop. Than Connor Williams.
I'm sorry, but Douglas a hell of a snapper. I've seen him in action. I don't know.
All right. Well, we appreciate you for joining the live chat. We've done 50 minutes. I actually have to do the Joe Rose show tomorrow morning. So I need to make sure that I get my bed. I did, for those who paid attention to the live stream earlier, I did get my nap in today. But my morning starts ridiculously early tomorrow. So I will be on QAM tomorrow. 7 o'clock is my start time. Joe's going to be there, coming straight from the plane as they head home from New England. So it shall be fun.
I will not be on WQAM, but I also have to wake up very early tomorrow.
Why?
Sorry?
Why?
Because I have two teenagers that I will get ready for school and drive to school.
Okay. Excellent. 6:30 wake up.
Yeah, and then after you talk to Joe Rose, you save all your best comments for the podcast we'll do tomorrow, revisiting the game.
All right, excellent. Always a pleasure, Poop. And for those who want to find our work, you can find it on YouTube, on alldolphins.com. Bookmark it on your website. It's free. All the content is free. You can find the podcast anywhere you find streaming sites, at Fans First Sports Network under Dolphins Insiders. Just type in Dolphins Insiders where you're looking for podcasts. You'll see my mug. You'll see Poop's mug. It is a pleasure to be with you after the game. Congratulations. Enjoy your victory. Victory Monday. See ya.
See ya.